All right, and welcome everybody to a special exclusive interview right here on the Lions Pride Sports broadcast with our new assistant, our new athletic director and head coach of the Lockhart Lions, Coach Maldonado. Congratulations, Coach, on being selected.
Welcome to Lockhart.
And,
I
welcome
appreciate
to
y'all.
Lion
Thank y'all
Country.
again. Thank y'all again.
Welcome to Lion Country. Before we get started, I do want to give a big thanks to our main sponsors, Kent Riddle Properties, Crikes Market, and Quantum Towing. And all of our sponsors to make this possible. Without y'all, we wouldn't be able to do stuff like this. And we've had the last 12 years we've had two head coaches. The 12 years before that we had six head coaches. So you coming into Lockhart High School, once again congratulations. First introduce yourself to Lions fans out there that haven't met you yet and weren't able to be at the meeting last night at the board meeting or just hasn't met you at all yet. Introduce yourself and let them know where you come from.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, about yourself.
I got y'all. Well, just first off, thank everybody for tuning in. If you're here, I'm ready for y'all's questions. I'm sure you guys can shoot them at me. Don't be scared to shoot them at me. But yeah, I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas. Graduated from Del Valle High School. After that, I was fortunate enough to continue my playing career at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor. And it was a great experience. I only lost 3 games my whole career. Was a first team all conference player there. And then by the grace of God, I was fortunate enough to go on and play arena football for 2 years. Sustained a knee injury past that, and that's what led me into coaching. And really the big part of my path in coaching was just the impact that my coaches had on me in high school. I was a knucklehead. They really just honestly saved my life. So, I know some people have heard that, but that's not a cliche that I should be 6 feet under or behind bars, just the decisions I was making as a young man. So my real purpose for being in this profession is just to impact the next generation and impact your student athletes. So, just very appreciative to Superintendent Estrada and the rest of the hiring board for giving me the opportunity to do so. But yeah, that's just a quick background on myself.
Yeah, and this is your first head coaching position and as an athletic director. How does that feel? Coming into it as a first time. We come in here, you're already working on paperwork as an athletic director, and it's like, how's that a jump from where you were at Rouse last year to where you're at now?
I've done a couple of things administrative. I mean, I've presented at board meetings before. I've stepped in at, my last smaller school at Jarrah. I stepped in for our head coach at the time, Marty Murr, when he had stuff to do. So I've done some of those things. I assisted Donald Hatchell with some of those administrative stuff here and there. But just when you get in the seat, you can't. It's just like being a father. You can't be prepared for it, right? But once you get into it, you hit it running, and it's been great since Friday morning. So yeah. I'm enjoying every moment of it. It's been fun, and I'm just ready to keep going.
I'm sure Coach prepared himself for it.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of training, and he's been at very good schools. But he was at Rouse. Before that, he was also at Anderson. Mm-hmm. Before that, he was at Smithville, Elgin.
Yeah,
Gerald.
Been under a lot of great head coaches from Cyril Atkins at Smithfield to James Garfield, who's now the Abilene athletic director there. Daniel Hunter, who gave me my first shot at just being in high school. And then, like I said, Marty Murr, and then Donald Hatcher, and then just recently with Coach Josh Mann, who's awesome. Like he's really the one I think really I took a lot from this past year, really just being a sponge because I felt like my time was coming, so I wanted to make sure that the next guy that I was going to be under, I was really just putting myself under his wing unknowingly to him. But like I told him, I was really just kind of creeping on him, just watching every movement, everything that he was doing, and just trying to soak up as much knowledge I could from him.
And if it's okay with you, I do want to open up the floor to those that are watching. If they have any questions they may want to ask of the new athletic director and head coach, I hope they would ask, of course, a respectable question.
Right,
but, if they can ask a question, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to know who the new head coach is and the athletic director is. But with every new head coach or athletic director comes in, there's a motto or a mission that you would like to put onto the school. Mm-hmm. Do you have a mission set already?
I do. I have a mission, a vision, and a purpose for the athletic program going forward. So our mission is to instill a belief in all our student athletes that if they want success, whatever their biggest dream is, dream it. You have the audacity to dream that biggest dream. We want to equip them with the skills and the mindset that they can go chase whatever it is that they want.
Right.
Our vision for the program is to for the community that they know that if their student athlete is a part of the athletic program, we're going to help them produce the very best version of themselves. And then our purpose as an athletic program is to really unify us all under one umbrella. And that's all levels. That's starting from the youth league all the way up to the varsity. So making sure that we have an open door policy And really the biggest thing with athletic programs is that vertical alignment. That's where you see a lot of success. So we want to make sure that vertical alignment starts from the youth league all the way up.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up because one of our listeners and a good friend of mine, Paul Ancita, he brought it up too, wanted me to ask you, at the junior high level, when it comes to football, we always had some great success in the junior high level. But once it got to the freshman and JV level, it got very difficult. And, of course, the step up in competition has something to do with it. But when we get to varsity, you could see the difference from the junior high level at 8th grade to where it is at the varsity level. How important is it, if you're going to have success at the varsity level, that not just the junior high level, but the freshman and JV level have to be looked at to build the program up to be more successful in the varsity level?
I mean, they're all crucial in their own part. I mean, our goal here for the football program, especially at the JV and the freshman level, they're true depictions of our varsity. They're going to have the same verbiage, they're going to have the same schematics, and they're going to have the same energy from all our coaching staff. It's not going to be like, oh, we're just going to go out there for the freshmen. No, it's a freshman period. Let's go. The expectation, the standard, and the goal is all the same thing, no matter if you're varsity, JV, or freshman. I'll go into what that means here in a second, but I mean, no, it's not just. They're equally important. They're all integral parts in our success.
So it's not one of those things to where it's been in the past to where JV's just tackling dummies or scrimmage. I don't want to say dummies, but the
scout team.
Yeah, scout team for the varsity.
We have to serve each other at some point. There's going to be times where they're going to have to scout, but at the same time, when we have an actual JV priority where varsity good is going against varsity good and they're scouting for each other. I did it last year when even being a coordinator, we had a JV team, and just to give you my mindset into how important it is. We had I guess it's a segment that I instilled into them called a fire drill, and that was to put them into situational football. Because how much time do you have with the JV and the freshman? Because you are prioritizing the varsity to an extent, so you have to be real creative of what you're doing with your varsity or your freshman and JV within your practice segments. So what we did is, we want them to get a look at the offense that we're going against, but we also want to put in those situationals. So we'll be going through a script. I'll blow 2 whistles. I'll yell out fire drill, and I'll yell out a situation. Hey, it's you got four third down situations. You got to make 3 out of 4 of those to win. Or I'm sorry, 2 out of 3 to win it. And that was just part of it. Just making sure that we can still get them prepared so that when they step into that next role as a varsity player, it's not okay. Well, what situational football? What am I supposed to do here? It's just growing. So it's like
it's almost like have every situation and be prepared for every situation that you're going to be put in.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I like that.
You have to be prepared.
And Coach, you got it?
Tell us about, I know when we came in, we were talking about your schedule for this week. So tell us kind of, I'm sure the people out there would like to know how busy you've been. Like, you were at the junior high yesterday, today and tomorrow you're going to the track meet?
Yes. So, today, I mean, we came and just on people, we're, looking at the new middle school that's potentially going to go. Please get out there and vote for your student athletes. Big time. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful campus if we can get this passed this year. And just speaking on that real quick, it's going to benefit not only athletics, but it's going to benefit all students. Class sizes will go down. We'll be able to get more kids into athletics, and then that just in part helps those students have a priority on their grades. So please go out and vote on May 5th. But I had that today. I have a couple of meetings with a lot of the big stakeholders later on in the week. Just getting with all the departments here to make sure I'm in line with our procedures on campus. We got area track. We got baseball tonight. We got the girls banquet on Thursday night. Can't wait to meet y'all girls if y'all see this later. And then the biggest event of the week is going to be my daughter's birthday. She's turning 4.
That has to be.
That's going to be the biggest event this
up
weekend.
there on top with your wife's.
It's number 1 right now, so I got to make sure I'm prioritizing that, and then still making sure I'm doing everything I need to do to make everybody successful and keep it rolling.
And Coach forgot to mention he's throwing out the first pitch tonight for the baseball game. So
Sarge's
going to have the gun ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna check it.
Actually, I'll be across the street. We'll be broadcasting the girls softball game tonight against Cedar Park. So
you got lucky there, Coach.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it's good. We coming from Rouse, we love beating Cedar Park. So I'm hoping I'm bringing that juice.
Well, and Lockhart baseball's playing Cedar Park, and the girls are playing Cedar Park as well also.
Let's go get
So
that win.
we got our first question here. Actually, a couple of questions from Michael Gobea. We go, first off, welcome to Lockhart, Coach. 2 questions. What is your offense/defensive style? And your second one, have you had a chance to get some barbecue yet?
Well, I'll jump on the barbecue because that's the easiest question to answer real quick. when I was waiting for the interview, we had my final interview. One was at 9:55 that morning, and then I came back and met with Superintendent Estrada that evening. So I told myself, man, I'm going to wait until I get that barbecue if I get the job. So Superintendent Estrada was nice enough to take us out to Terry's. So we went out there, and I had a brisket plate. I had a brisket sandwich, delicious. I can't wait to try all the other ones that are out here. Got to make sure I'm still working out. But offensive defensive philosophy, I'm not going to say that I'm a 4-2-5 person. I'm not a 3-4. I'm not a spread RPO. I'm not 12 personnel. So what we're doing right now in these 2 weeks with the boys is we're evaluating the personnel to see what scheme fits them. So, as a defensive coordinator, in the past I was, hey, we're going to be 4-2-5 because that's what I was born and raised in at UMHB, and that's what I knew, and that's how I knew how to adjust. As you go through this, and under my my experience with it, you have to adjust your scheme to the kids. What do they do best? It's not coming in and say, hey, we're a 3-4 attacking defense, we're a 3-3 stack. We may be all of those things, and it just depends really on the personnel that we have and putting them in a position to succeed. So I guess the easiest way to say this is my offensive and defensive philosophy is versatile. So making sure that whatever it is that we're doing for those kids is going to maximize their potential on that field. So that's the philosophy behind that.
And you can't go wrong wherever barbecue spot you're going.
Okay, perfect.
But I do want to state that Christ Market is our main sponsor for Live Christ Sports broadcast.
And when I've known Coach for a while, and when he told me he was going to apply for the job, the first thing I told him, Coach, I hope you love barbecue.
Yeah.
Get them workouts out the way.
Yeah.
All right, second question, Desiree Simon Monique. Thank you for your question. So how do you build team chemistry and leadership among the players?
Well, number one thing is I got to portray it, right? I got to portray what our leadership needs to be. And you also have to define it. So going back to it, we have an expectation, we have a standard, and we have a goal. And this is all for all the athletic program. Our expectation is that all our student athletes, at the bare minimum, they're going to remain academically eligible all year, right? We want to make sure that we are getting into the playoffs. And then the third part is we're going to be a representative of our respected athletic program, whether it's football, whether it's volleyball, whether it's baseball. Our standard, our expectation now is to be academic all district. We want to win district, and then the part of that is be a representative of the athletic program. So everybody, when they go out into the community, hey, you guys are doing a great job at athletics. We appreciate the young man, the young woman you are. And then the third part of that is now the goal is we're going to be academic all state to make sure that our academics are prioritized. We're going to make it a competitive environment. We're all competing within the athletic programs. We want to play on Thanksgiving. That's for football, but everybody else make it to that second, third round, the regionals. And then that last one is we want to be an ambassador for Lockhart ISD. We don't just want to be a representative. We want to be somebody that when we go out, we portray that what pride is back, what pride is for Lockhart ISD. So that's the leadership, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's how we're going to equip them to achieve those goals. So that's the biggest thing there.
And that's for all sports.
That's for all sports.
All sports.
All sports. I was about to say that. How important is that? It's just, people think of, I don't want to, throw anybody under the bus, but when it came to looking at all the other sports, it was kind of look past that because the main sport was football, and your main sport has been football your whole life. But now that you're athletic director, that entails you got to go to all the other sports. Soccer boys were in the playoffs. Girls had a real good start at the beginning of the season. It's been a while since we've had a district champion in any of the sports. I think the last one was a girls softball team, and I think that was the last time they had made it to the playoffs.
It's been a while.
It's been a while for that.
It's creating that belief, and every year you have a mantra, you have like a motto, you have a quote saying, but that one this year is going to be believe. We want these kids to believe that they can achieve anything, and that starts tonight going out and beating Cedar Park, right? Baseball and softball. Let's go. Let's tonight be the one that slingshots us into that new era for all athletic programs. So I want to make sure that we're going out there, we're believing, bringing the juice every single day, and just setting that tone for everybody.
Awesome.
To come to Lockhart, you didn't come by yourself. You had to bring your wife came along, your daughter came along. Talk about them and their support for you becoming an athletic director. How excited were they when they got the news?
Man, I think we were just both shell-shocked whenever it happened. We were actually putting my daughter to sleep, and when I got the call on that Sunday evening from Superintendent Estrada, it was just whoa. I even felt kind of shell-shocked whenever I found out I was making the final round. So. She was very excited. She knows that this has been a goal of mine to be an athletic director, head football coach. My daughter's excited to be a Lion now. When I told her we weren't going to be Raiders anymore, she kind of got that. It's a great community. Rouse is an outstanding community.
Yes,
I've got nothing but great things to say about them. But when I told her we were going to be Raiders, she kind of like looked at me like, "What?" I was like, "Well, we're gonna be lions now, baby," and she went, "Rawr!" So I think she's very excited. She's all about animals.
I think she got the spirit already.
I think she does, but just
wearing the Latin American white.
yes, and just giving a shout out to my wife. She's a rock star right now. I mean, she works for McGraw Hill, and right now she's on the road traveling at Baylor right now, or UTSA or UT every other week, or every week, I should say that, twice a week. And I mean, she's doing a great job. I'm commuting an hour right now, a morning every day. I'm an hour back and an hour home. But yeah, she's just. I'm blessed more than I should be.
Right.
Just with my wife.
And Coach is looking for a house, so if anybody can out there,
yeah,
can
you
help
got
him
any
out.
realtors out there? Give this guy a good deal.
Little trade or something.
Please.
Yeah.
Any
All right.
Any more questions?
Yeah, we got another question from Dan Hernandez. He
Okay.
says, "Congratulations, Coach. As a former coach, you have a great role model. You have a great role model to your left, and an old friend of mine. He is a diehard of Lockhart Athletics. How do you instill old school values within a world that moves so fast?"
Well, and that's the number one thing. I would really like to get with a lot of stakeholders like Mr. Galvez and just ask them, what does Lockhart mean to you? What does Lockhart Pride mean to you? So that way I can get a vibe of what it meant to them when they were here on campus, what it meant to them as they were growing, and then seeing how the program has changed. And that way we can try and instill some of those old values while bringing a little of that new age razzle dazzle to it, But that was one of the things that really caught my attention. Was just the amount of support that the community has. And it was something that I knew that if I was fortunate enough to get this job, I knew it was going to be there. And I wanted to make sure that we were honoring those traditions, honoring those people. So really get in front of those stakeholders and just ask them, what does Lockhart Pride mean to you? Like, define it for me before I even knew what the research that I have, before I even knew what it's about. So that's going to be a big thing about that.
Right.
And Coach definitely wants to get the alumni back involved, back in the program.
Yes.
And those pictures we had on the wall, we're doing our best to find them and put them back on the wall where they belong.
And just on that note, any alumni out there, we'd like to do devotionals for our teams. I'm asking all our coaches to have some time for a devotional for alumni to be able to come down and just speak for 5 to 10 minutes and get in front of their athletic programs. I know we'll have it on Thursdays before, for the varsity games on Thursday after we're doing a walkthrough. If you have any interest in doing that, please shoot me an email. It's mike.maldonado@lockhart.txed.net. I got it down.
You gotta make it right.
I got it down.
And leander.is.
Yeah, I got it. But no, if anybody has interest in that, please just shoot me. I would love to get the alumni back in here and just give some testimony and give that devotional before we go out there and dominate the field.
Yeah, and you've already had a chance to speak with the athletic crew. The other day I saw a picture that they posted on the Lockhart ISD Facebook page. One thing that we've always talked about is the numbers when it comes to each sport. Softball had some great numbers that showed up for tryouts and everything. But when it comes to football and all the other sports, especially football, we talk about we've got 4A numbers in a 5A school. How important is to try and get those numbers back up from freshman, JV, and varsity level?
Well, I mean, that's huge. And the biggest thing being even in a 5A Division I, I'm coming from the same thing. We were a 5A Division I school, but our numbers were low too. So the biggest thing is making sure that there's equity with those kids that want to participate in all multi-sports. If a kid wants to be a multi-sport athlete, it's up to the adults to make it happen. It's not up to the student. So we have to be the ones that communicate to make a plan work and get it going. We're +1 right now with multi-sport athlete. We had a boy Oscar just came in from soccer, first time out there lifting today because we talked on Friday. Literally after I got done, I had about 15 minutes, had a conversation. I was like, look, I'm going to make it happen for you. If you want to be a part of the football program, let's make this plan happen. And he showed up today, so we're +1 on the recruiting trail right now.
All right.
So the plan is to be about +50 by the time we get to fall. But
you get to the point where like, man, what are we going to do with all these kids?
I want to get to a point where I want to have a good headache where I'm looking at gear and man, we can't fit everybody. So that's going to be my biggest plan.
And Coach also going to get the kids that were in the program, played in middle school or played freshman and stopped. They're more than welcome to come back.
100%. Or those that have maybe left us for other schools. Y'all can come back. Let's have a conversation.
Come back home.
Yeah, come on back home. And I think the biggest part also, I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt you, but I think the biggest part of that is also getting in front of the junior high and making sure that they know that they're going to be supported in all athletics and all programs. So that was one of the biggest reasons I wanted to go down there yesterday, to show my face, just let them know that I'm going to be around. It was great to see the 7th grade boys yesterday working out. Went and talked to the 8th grade girls, and they're going to be a fun group. My goodness, they had a lot of energy. So it's just, I think that's the biggest part, is just showing that we're going to be there for them, support them, and you're just not you're just not doing sports as just whatever, you know. And I told the 7th grade boys, I want y'all to start really working hard because they were working out where that water tower was. I want whoever's driving in on that bus to see that water tower and be like, oh man, we're in lion country. It's real over here. So I think they loved it. They said it was very inspirational. So they had a lot of juice too. So I think it'll be great just to make sure we're showing face and showing the kids that we care.
Yeah. And I think you've already fired up a former Lockhart player, Richard Abada. He says, put me in, coach. Yeah. And one thing about Mr. Abada, he started up the tailgating parties for the home games last year.
Awesome.
And we got 6 home games this year. So hopefully we could get together and work something out to where we could make that an even bigger event.
Have something for every home game.
Really?
Make it big.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And now we got a question. Let's see. Pull it back up. Okay. From Chris Leos. He says, what are your non-negotiables just so we can set the bar at home?
So non-negotiables for me is communication. That's going to be the number one thing. I am a firm believer in having no gray area because that's where the devil lies. Right. I want to make sure that, you know, when the communication's going out and football parents, I'll be sending, you know, some updates on the program. Still trying to get my feet underneath me here, trying to get caught up. You know, it's a little late, but we'll have communication for the rest of the spring. And that's going to be for all our coaches in our athletic program, making sure that there's no gray area in that. So the communication coming from us and the communication coming from y'all. Please don't, you know, you trust your student, trust your son or daughter to make sure they're communicating, but also just a follow-up email will be great. So that way we can make a plan if, you know, and like I told the kids, you know, I had talked to another football player today about, you know, we have 7-on-7 coming up. He was like, Coach, I'm taking an internship at TechStop. Well, I want to be a part of it. I may not be able to do Roar this summer. Let's make a plan. We can't help what we don't know. Right. So the number one thing is just communication. That is a non-negotiable. So over communication is perfect.
Yeah, communication isn't just something on the field, it's off the field as well.
Off the field, most importantly.
And not just off the field, but on the campus and off the campus between the parents and the athletics.
Correct, exactly, correct.
Coach, talk briefly about your schedule for next year. I know we're not going to have spring football, so what are the plans there?
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, I know we've had spring football the last couple of years. We're a little behind right now, so I didn't want to waste the extra week. And it's just my philosophy with spring football is that your team does not look the same as it does in April and May as it's going to look in the fall. There may be some kids that, you know, grow 6-7 inches, or somebody goes up 80 pounds on their bench, you know, or maybe there's move-ins, move-outs. You know, you just don't know what your team's going to look like when we show up August 4th. So we won't have a spring game this year. We will have some football fundamentals, football skills. We'll have basically foundations of what our schematics are, what we're working on. So in saying that, that gives us an extra scrimmage at the beginning of the year. And before I get to that first scrimmage that we have lined up, we're going to have what's called Midnight Madness this year. And that's going to be that first week, that first day that we get to have full contact. I believe it's the 9th going into the 10th. I don't have my calendar on me right now. But we at the stroke of midnight, we are full contact. We are full go. We'll have practice, and then we'll have some scrimmage type activities there. But really, that's a community event. We're inviting the band to come out. We're inviting the cheer to come out, the dance team. I got to coordinate with them because they're just as big as part of Friday night. That's their game night as well. So I want to give them the opportunity to have their first live action, so we can have our first live action, and then it's just a big community event, so we can have everybody.
Hopefully, we'll get things worked out. We'll be out there too for that midnight madness. I might have to take a blanket and a pillow with me. But right now, we got on the screen the schedule for this upcoming season. Of course, we got 6 home games coming up, and on the screen it just shows 1 scrimmage, but without any spring ball. We've got a second scrimmage lined up already.
Yeah, our first scrimmage. Yeah, we'll have Midnight Madness, and the following week we'll be playing Northeast at Nelson Field. That'll be on the 15th. I got that lined up. You know, it was hard to find something, but we found something. I love Nelson Field. I played there many a times, but it's going to be nice to get into, you know, go and play in Austin in the city. I know we'll be there at House Park as well at Anderson, so it'll be cool to just, you know, travel to Austin and get those games in. But, you know, that gives us basically 3 scrimmages with the Midnight Madness, with Northeast, with Elgin, and getting into to get those first non-district wins, and then let's roll through district, get to that open week, get healthy, and then let's go steal some games from some guys. You know, let's go make a run.
In case you haven't noticed, we also have 2 Thursday games.
I saw that. Well, 3 really if you include that scrimmage.
Right.
Yeah, 3 if you include that scrimmage, which nothing different for me. I think it's great. You know, I don't think it's anything that's going to change. We just got to change the schedule around, and kids will adapt. We'll adapt, and we'll be ready to compete.
And there's one thing about Lockhart. We've always been put in some very tough districts. You know, we were in a tough district a couple of years ago. Then we got moved into a tough district where we had to drive almost 200 miles just to get to the next stadium.
Wow.
But have you taken a look at the teams that we got going up against for district this year and non-district play as well?
Well, I mean, the number one that kind of sticks out to me, of course, is going to be Anderson High School. I mean, I'm 2 years removed from there, so I'm very familiar with those kids. A lot of those kids that I did coach, they'll be seniors this year, so I'm very excited about competing with them. A lot of them actually texted me congratulations. They said it's all love except for October 30th. I'm excited to see them.
And that's going to be at House Park.
We go there.
House Park, yeah. So seeing that skyline will be awesome. Coach Hatcher, Coach Holcomb, the defensive coordinators, and Bucas, the whole staff. I'm still really close to, still talk to them. So
I won't be surprised that's homecoming for them.
It'll be fun. That'll be great.
As Coach likes to call it, House No Park.
House No Park.
House No Park.
That's true. That is true. That is true. But just looking at it, I mean, like I said, whenever this realignment was happening before I left to Rouse, I did my research on all these teams because I was still the defensive coordinator there, so I'm very familiar with a lot of these teams already. I actually have a really good buddy that coaches at Southwest that I played college ball with. Victoria West is probably going to be the only school that I don't have any prior knowledge on, but for the most part, Lehman, I know about Lehman. Chris Castillo is a great guy there. My buddy's the DC at Hendrickson. Jordan Shaw, I'm really good with at Cedar Creek as well. Coach Hodges is over there. Hayes has an El Paso guy with Mark Torres. I'm really good. I'm really good friends with his brother Ruben. And then you go to Weiss. Coach Hughes I've talked to a couple of times. College Station and A&M Consolidated. Of course, they were the first two that I looked at because those are the top dogs in the district. So watching their film already, and of course, like I said, Anderson. So I'm very familiar with the district.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Excited, very excited.
Got another question from Desiree Simone Monique. What values do you expect your players to represent both on and off the field?
Well, like I said, they have that standard, that expectation, and that goal, and it's really the value is to produce the very best version of themselves, and we're going to equip them to do that in athletics, academics, and in their personal lives. So what I want them to feel is when they're walking out the door, who am I representing? I'm representing just like you tell them on the football field. Represent that name on the front and the name on the back. So when you walk out that door every day, how would you feel when you came home if you looked in the mirror and you had to judge yourself? I want to make sure that the biggest thing, like I said, when I first kind of started looking into Lockhart, excellence was the word that kept popping up. So I want them to pursue that excellence every day, right? Capture excellence every day, no matter what it is you do. And like I told the girls, the little 8th grade girls yesterday, I want them to empty that tank. Whatever their perfect effort is, I want us to get second nature into perfect effort in everything that they do. Because I'm a true believer, if you just give great effort, a lot of good things are going to come for you. So that's going to be the biggest thing. It's something
like you said, you want to bring the pride back. You take a look at yourself in the mirror. Don't look at doubt, look at pride.
Exactly. Exactly. Believe in yourself every single day. When you look in the mirror, believe that you're going to achieve excellence today.
And we got a comment from Deanne Franco. Says, Coach, I've worked with many people that have come from El Paso. They are energetic. Of course, we see it right now. Dependable and have a high work ethic. You already sound like them. Congratulations. Welcome to Lockhart.
Thank you. Thank you.
From Joe Franco. Yes. Angela Meitler. Meitler family welcomes you. Looking forward to having you in Lockhart. And, Richard Boss sounds like Lockhart made a good choice. It's about time we are known for something else besides barbecue. What can we do as a community to help support you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to ask for some help this year to get the field house updated. So if there's anybody that wants to do some painting and move some stuff, we need to redo the floors. We need to get the field house a little updated there. So I'm going to need some man labor. But besides that, just continue to support the kids. Talk up the kids whenever you see them. As their seasons are getting in, just tell them how much you support them, how much you care about them, how much you love them. Always number one, show them how you love them. So that's going to be the biggest thing. I need some manpower and just continue to support the kids and be there for the kids.
Well, here's one support way. John Luis Barone Jr. says, if you need a car to destroy with boys, let him know. Just needs to provide a sledgehammer. We did this once when he played a long time ago.
Okay, that sounds like something we can talk about. That sounds fun.
Especially for the Anderson game.
All love with them.
You guys going back on the manual labor, that'll probably be this summer, right? When you ask people to come out.
Well, yeah, that's what we're looking at.
You'll let us know.
Yes,
okay. I'm sure there'll be some guys willing to step up and help out.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. Joel Juarez, what is the goal? First, second, third state. You definitely have the talent. These kids are special.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
What is the goal? First, second, third state. You definitely have the talent. These kids are special.
So the goal to get to state, is that the question?
Right.
The goal to get to state?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to talk to the kids about getting to state. I'll never mention state championship because that's for football. Our goal is to get to Thanksgiving because when you get to Thanksgiving, you're getting into the region, and from there, anything can happen. I don't want them to think about the end game. And that's going to be the biggest thing is wherever we're at, the boys have been doing a great job. Is when we say focus, I want them getting focused back exactly where they're at. Wherever they are, I want them to live in that moment. I want them to be 1-0, and I want to stack it. So we will never talk about winning a state championship or anything like that. The number one goal is get to Thanksgiving. But every day I want them to have a second nature that I'm going to go 1-0 at whatever task it is, whether it's a quiz, whether it's a test. I'm going to win whatever it is in front of me.
Right.
And that's really the number one goal for the kids.
Yeah. And when you win, we all win. Put it that way.
It's community.
Because Thanksgiving's already, the second round already?
Yeah. And what, like Coach Herman, he had a saying that says the teams that get remembered play in December.
Nice. Like that.
And
great guy too. Great guy.
We have a Lockhart legend chiming in. Mr. Darrell Thomas says, "Welcome, Coach. Go Lions." And Darrell Thomas was part of the last district championship football team back in 1971. And of course, we got several that would come up to the booth to come visit with us. Mr. Owen and Coach Howard Thompson would come up there.
A lot of alumni that want to get involved that have a lot of line pride.
Well, like I said, they're welcome to come down and speak to the team.
Well, that would be perfect for them. Yeah. A lot of history between Darrell Thomas and Coach Thompson themselves. Michael Govea says, "Coach, as a parent of an incoming sixth grader, he's excited to see how this program grows, and he's excited to have his son play in your system." So that says a lot right there.
Awesome.
People getting their first peek of our new athletic director and head coach of the Lockhart Lions football team, and not just that, but for the athletic department for Lockhart High School. Let's see what else we got. Okay, that's it for now. But we have a lot of people chiming in. Of course, you can go back and you'll see all the comments. People welcome you to Lockhart. And, of course, one of them was my mom. She says, "Welcome to Lockhart, Coach." And, I've said it before that I became a Lockhart Lion fan when I was 4 years old, where the football field used to be behind where the central office is at. That used to be the high school.
Okay.
So the football field used to be back there.
Wow.
And I'll share some pictures with you where the old gate, something that hopefully we could bring back the interest to the stadium. But I'll send it to you in emails and stuff. But we used to walk across the street right there where the LDMC is at. They have that open field. We live right there on Peach Street. She still lives there now. But we used to walk across there when I was 4 years old, go to the stadium, and she would tear the vines down off the fence because she didn't have enough money to get us into the game. But she would have to tear the vines down, and that's where we would sit and watch the football game. And I've been a Lockhart Lion fan ever since then. And, of course, I think I emailed you. This is going to be my last year in the football season. I'll be done after 12 seasons. I got to, it's time for me to step aside. But I believe we're going to have a great crew that's going to come in and step in and continue on for the 2026 season as well. But that's where I became a Lockhart Lion fan.
That's awesome.
I haven't been excited for a football season like this until now.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
I think everybody's looking forward to it.
I hope so. Besides the wins and losses, we're just going to make sure that, the boys and the girls and all of our student athletes we're really trying to equip them for life, So that's going to be the number one thing. The wins and losses will come, and let me not say wins and losses, but the wins will come. But it's just, we want to make sure that, this first graduating class within this program is going to be really equipped to go and be positive communities community members of their community. We say that again, but that's going to be the number one goal this year. And of course, getting the numbers up. But of course, we want to win. Of course, we want to win.
Here's a question that we had talked about earlier, but I'll bring it up one more time. It's questioned differently. From Noel Hyman says, "A big problem in years past has been player retention from junior high up to into high school across all sports, not just football. How do you intend to not only retain players, but get more participation?"
Well, the number one thing is creating that excitement. So what we're going to be scheduling here pretty soon, and I'm hoping to get this done within the next 2 weeks, is we're going to call what's called the Lions Den. And basically what it is we're going to bring all of those that are in 8th grade athletics, we're going to put them in the gym, and we're going to have basically like a national signing day event. Where basically we'll print out a bunch of sheets, and it's going to have, this is the letter of interest in the athletic program, and it's just giving them that excitement that if they were signing a scholarship to go play athletics, right? So, some of our student athletes aren't going to be fortunate enough to have that, but I would love for them to have that opportunity to feel that excitement, like I'm signing for something, woo, yay. And it's also just getting everybody, again, that vision to get everybody under one umbrella. So that's creating that excitement to make sure.
Definitely let us know about that, because we'd love to broadcast. That would be great.
Okay.
Get over that. Kids will love it.
Yeah, we're going to get that scheduled.
Feel big time.
Yeah, just getting around testing days and STAR and ELC, just making sure that we're doing that. So that'll probably be towards the end of the semester when we have that happen.
I know you're busy and you got other things to do today, so we'll have a couple of more questions before we close it out. Torrey Hill, how will Coach balance his status as head football coach and AD?
Oh, balancing.
Yeah,
I mean,
balance it out.
it's coming down to equity. I mean, as you know, like I tell everybody, you know, when you're in this seat, it's not just a head football coach. You want to make sure that you're providing equity for everybody. And I know always the biggest thing is going to be, you know, how do you feel about girls sports? Well, like I told everybody, you know, I have a daughter. Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be athletic. She's either going to be a dancer or she's probably going to be running track the way she's moving right now. So I want to make sure that the program is having equity across the board because I would want somebody, if my daughter was in an athletic program, how would I want her to be treated? Well, it's the exact same way I'm going to treat every other sport. You know, so I'm going to make sure that I'm getting everything done. That's why I get up very early. I sleep not much at night, but you know, I've got 3 roles right now. I've got athletic director, I've got head football coach, and I've got 4 daddy, and I've got husband. So it's making sure that I have equity across the board, making sure that everybody's taken care of, and if it's losing a little bit of sleep and putting my Folgers coffee in, that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. But making sure that everybody's taken care of.
Right.
And I guarantee you, Coach will be at every athletic event.
Yeah, I'll be making.
If he could, if he's in, he'll be there.
Yeah, I'm making the,
I don't care if it's
making the attempt. I'm gonna make my attempt to get everyone.
7th grade B team, 7th grade volleyball.
Show my face.
Even if we got to get a cutout of Coach cardboard cutout, just put him on the wall or something. He's there.
I'll make an attempt. I'll make every attempt.
He's going to be on the sideline. He's going to be very vocal. I guarantee it.
I'll be there. I'll be there supporting. I will be there supporting.
And Torrey Hill says that's great. That means a lot coming from an alumni female athlete herself.
Great.
And Solomon Key, he had some great boys that played football here at high school. He said he wished his kids would have played for you. No lines of welcome.
Great guy. I met him last night. Great dude.
Great guy. Yes, he is.
Great people.
And you know, before we close out, you know, do want to thank you and congratulate you once again. And I want to thank you for everybody's participation and sending them questions. If I happen to miss your questions, my apologies. They were scrolling up pretty quick, and I tried to get as many as possible. And maybe Coach, when he gets a chance later on, he'll go back and look at the Facebook feed or the Facebook. And if there's any questions that I may have missed or something, feel free to comment and reach out to them and let them know. I'm pretty sure they would appreciate that greatly. And because like you said, one thing that's big is communication. That's something that I believe I could safely say was lacked in the last couple of years. So,
Coach, talking to some of the players and the coaches, they're very excited to have you.
That's awesome. It means the world to me.
They're looking forward to football season to get started, and just keep up the good work.
And it's not all about me, you know. It's just making sure that I'm providing that leadership and portraying what we need, and then everybody else just putting their chips in. I know I got some poker chips. If you were on that committee, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But it's just, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I do have this role, but it's not about me. It's about Lockhart ISD and Lockhart Athletics, and it's about the student athletes. So I just want to make sure that, you know, we're doing everything we can for them. And if you do have any other questions, we have the community meet and greet next Wednesday. We were going to do it Monday, but my daughter's not going to miss another dance class. She's getting ready for her recital. So we're doing it next Wednesday. It'll be 6 to 7 here in the gym. So, you know, that'll be another opportunity. If you want to come up, we can have a chit chat. And then, like I said, I'll look through the comments whenever I get a chance later today or really later this week. Like I said, I'm still trying to get my feet under me a little bit here, but I appreciate everybody in the community. Appreciate everybody for, you know, tuning in and just thank you.
One last question, because you've played at the next level in college, and then you've gone on to play arena football, professional football. You know, or a couple of questions. How's the difference in speed from arena football? Because we all watch football on TV, the 100 yards, but when you get into a hockey rink, there's got to be a big difference in that.
Oh, it was wild, to be honest with you. The number one thing that I took this from it is the wall's undefeated.
Right.
So I remember taking a helmet to the, you know, just driving my helmet into the wall. So that was wild. The speed's crazier. I flipped over a wall a few times.
I saw the videos, and if you look up Mike Maldonado arena football, you'll see highlights of him doing just that. And I'm going to take that video. I'm going to share it on the Line
Oh man, don't do that. Don't
Facebook
do that.
page. So, no, it was something exciting. It was man, fun. It's wild.
It was great because I mean the fans were right there, so it was a real blessing. It was wild because I got invited to go up to a CFL mini camp. And it went from, you know, the football field to the arena football field to now you're playing almost on a soccer field. So it was boom, boom, boom. So that was
there's
wild.
a 55-yard line.
Yes, exactly. It was crazy, but it was great.
All right. Last question from the Facebook, from Deborah Leos. That's why I brought up the question about moving up to the next level. Last question on the Facebook page. How will you help our athletes when it comes to playing at the next level?
Really, it's being committed to the process is going to be the number one thing. If you've got the talent and if you really want to do it, you've got to be open-minded to any offer that you have, especially with the transfer portal nowadays, and really just having those communications. Where do we feel as a coach, can you succeed at the next level? Not everybody's going to be a D1 player, and if we're being honest right now, D1 players are in the portals, and that's what a lot of recruiters have been telling me. So it's just making sure that if you do get that offer, let's talk about that offer. Let's talk about the academic part of it. First off, what do you want to study there? Do they offer what you want? But really, it's committing to the process every single day and chasing that excellence. You have to have, because once you get to that second level, it's still fun, but it's a job. You're starting morning, you're going to afternoon, you've got meetings, so making sure that they know exactly what they're getting into. And then just making sure, again, they're committed to the process here and not thinking about there. We want every student athlete to have a chance to go play college ball. But we don't want them to just be solely in athletics and go play college and earn a scholarship, because now, we're not really in line with that, and that can turn into some selfish play. It can, but I want every student to have that opportunity to go play college sports, but just making sure that we're having hard conversations, truthful conversations, and really just educating them on that process, what it looks like, and then just making sure that we have everything that we need from them. Grades are going to be most importantly. And that's going to be the number one thing that gets them looked at or gets them, put in file 13.
Yeah, people think D1. You could be a D1 player and ride the bench. Or you could go to D2 and play start right away. So that makes a big difference from
just your D3s and your NAIAs. I was at D3 at UMHB, and if you look at the facilities there, they're better than some of the D2s and some D1s. And we played high quality ball. My junior year, we had a receiver that transferred in that was roommates with Des Bryant. So it's not just ordinary guys or just other guys. I came from a D2. I had some stuff that I lost, and those are some of the lessons that I'll be able to portray to them, or how I lost my scholarship. I'm ashamed to say that, but I'm not going to be ashamed to talk to kids about that to make sure they're in line with what they're doing. But it's just educating them, making sure that they understand the process. Number one.
Yeah. Coach, you have any questions for us, the broadcast crew?
No, I don't have any questions. I mean, we talked a lot, so you really filled me into it.
We broadcast, of course, the varsity games, home and away. We also do freshman JV.
Whichever one are playing at home.
Whoever's at home. And we also do a couple of junior high games also.
Awesome.
And one thing, me and Sarge and our other partner, TD, Thomas Dunn, we never criticize the kids. We never criticize the coaches, because we know how hard y'all work, and we know you're trying your best. And we're your biggest supporters.
Appreciate
never put them down. And in fact, we've had to delete a couple people that were trying to talk bad about the.
So and that's one big thing that we do, because it's all about the student athlete when it comes to the broadcast, and not just for the Lockhart Line program. Whoever the Lockhart Lines are going up against, it's for those student athletes as well, also, because they got parents that are going to be watching, and they got fans, they got coaches that go back. And we always keep it right down the middle. Of course, we kind of veer a little more to the line side, but it's always very respectful. And even though this is my last year coming up, if you have anything that you would like to get us involved in to broadcast or to record or do something like that, or even post or whatever we can do here on the broadcast, we'll be more than happy to assist you and whatever you need to get out.
I appreciate everything y'all do. That's awesome.
We're here for the kids. We're here for the and we've even had coaches for the other teams come up to us and say, "Hey, I love your broadcast."
That's awesome.
They watch our broadcast before they watch their huddle.
That's awesome. It's great to hear. But no, I appreciate everything y'all do for us.
All right. Well, before we close it out, any final words you would like to say to the Lockhart Lion fans out there, and who are probably ready to start buying tickets and sitting in the stands right now?
No, just thank y'all once again for welcoming me so much. It's been such a warm welcome. I hope y'all still have the same love after this year. Do my very best to make sure that there's still love on that. But no, in all seriousness, thank y'all for just the support you've given me since I've been here. I've only been here for a few days, and it feels like I've been here at least a month already, just for how much love has been poured out. Again, it's not about me; it's about the kids, and just making sure that we get them to be successful adults and have success in every facet of their lives. So just continue to support us, support the staff here at the high school, support the junior high staff, support your youth league staff, support everybody. They're putting in a lot of work, and we have, we talk about being a teacher and a coach, but we also have other roles out here. We have to be a father, we have to be a husband, we have to be a wife, we have to be a mother. So, we're taking time, and we're trying to put as much equity into everything. So just continue to support us all, and just thank you.
Yeah, once again, Coach, we know you're a busy man. New athletic director, head coach for the Lockhart Lions football team. We're excited. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. And, come on live with us, introduce you to the fans that are out there that can't make it to either the next meet and greet. Of course, we got fans that tune in from all around the world. I used to listen to Lockhart Line football on the radio when I was stationed in Kuwait.
That's cool.
So this goes all the way around the world as well,
awesome.
also. So
Love that.
I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
Great day to be on Lockhart Line.
Yeah.
Every
But
day.
if you see Coach at one of the barbecue places, come up and say hello.
Yeah,
and if you have any
yeah,
questions for him,
100%.
he's more than welcome to answer any questions you have.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Best of luck.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank
Once
you.
again, Coach Maldonado is going to be at the high school baseball field. He'll be throwing out the first pitch.
Sorry.
And
I gotta warm up.
I got to start warming up now.
I gotta warm it up.
And tonight, Lions Pride Sports broadcast will be going live at the Lady Lions softball field as they take on Cedar Park in a big district matchup.
Good luck. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Go get that win. Go beat Cedar Park. Let's go.
There's one thing, now that you're a Lockhart Lion coach, one thing that's always been said, once a Lion, always a Lion.
Yes.
All right, love that.
And, once again, congratulations. Thank everybody for tuning in, especially our main sponsors, Kent Riddle Properties, Kreitz Market, and Quantum Towing. And hopefully everybody's questions were answered. If not, you'll have another chance to do that in a later date. But once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. And always remember, like I always say, you can take the line out of Lockhart, but you can never take the heart out of Lockhart. Go Lions.
Good job. Good job, Coach.
I love that. That was awesome. That was great.
Bye.
Thank you for watching today's broadcast of Lockhart Lions Sports on the Lions Pride Sports broadcast. Today's broadcast was brought to you by Kent Riddle Properties, Kreitz Market and Quantum Towing. And remember, like the Sarge always says, you can take the lion out of Lockhart, but you can never take the heart out of Lockhart. Go Lions!